NASA has decided that Butch and Suni will return with Crew 9 next February, and that Starliner will return uncrewed, and the specifics in the schedule will be discussed momentarily.
Have you heard of the latest scoop with the Boeing Starliner? NASA's got a real space soap opera on its hands. Two astronauts, Suni Williams and Butch Wilmore, have been chilling at the International Space Station for a lot longer than planned. But fear not, Elon Musk's SpaceX is about to swoop in and save the day. That's right, the SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule will bring these space voyagers back to Earth after their extended stay. This rescue mission has been in the works and buzzing in the minds of space enthusiasts for weeks now, so stay tuned to find out how this cosmic rescue mission unfolds. Here's the scoop. Boeing's Starliner spacecraft, which was supposed to return astronauts Suni Williams and Butch Wilmore home after an 8-day stay at the ISS, hit some major snags. The Starliner had some helium leaks and thrusters that decided to quit mid-flight. Imagine trying to fix a leaky balloon floating in space. It's a bit like that. Boeing was still optimistic in early August, confidently stating that Starliner would safely return the astronauts. But on August 7th, NASA hit pause and seriously considered whether they needed SpaceX's Crew Dragon for the rescue mission. They must have had a tough choice. Well, because on August 26th, they finally decided to make the switch. NASA's Bill Nelson mentioned, "We've had mistakes in the past, like losing 2 space shuttles because we didn't have a culture where information could come forward. Spaceflight is risky, even when everything goes smoothly. That's why, when it comes to test flights, the stakes are even higher. A test flight is never truly safe or routine." Now, here's where it gets interesting. SpaceX's Crew Dragon was already scheduled for a routine mission called Crew 9. But, plot twist, instead of 4 astronauts, it will now have room for 2 extra passengers. That's right, Williams and Wilmore will hitch a ride with Crew 9 and extend their stay at the ISS by another 6 months. Their zero-gravity vacation just got an upgrade. If you enjoy this space saga, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Your support helps us bring more cosmic content to you. Check out our other videos to get all caught up with the Boeing drama. Steve Stick from NASA's Commercial Crew Program mentioned that there's been some debate between NASA and Boeing regarding the acceptable level of risk. It's really about finding that sweet spot of what's considered safe enough. Despite the setbacks, NASA Administrator Bill Nelson is optimistic that Boeing will resolve the issues and get Starliner ready for its next crewed mission. As for Starliner's rough road, NASA's Commercial Crew Program was designed with backup options. If one spacecraft faces trouble, the other can step in. With Starliner still ironing out issues and Crew Dragon already operating smoothly for 4 years, having multiple spacecraft is proving to be a smart move. Back to the story. Starliner made its empty return last Saturday, September 7th. Now, if you're curious why it's flying solo, it's all about safety. Boeing and NASA aren't taking any risks with astronauts on board just yet. They're making sure everything is 100% before humans step inside. The capsule's return to Earth last Friday night wrapped up its nearly 3-month space adventure at the International Space Station ISS. As expected, it left behind the 2 test pilots who'll be chilling at the ISS for a bit longer until February 2025. Guess the capsule needed some alone time. The Starliner blasted off from the ISS just after 6 p.m. Eastern Time, and it spent around 6 hours cruising through space before making its descent. Here's the interesting part. It touched down in White Sands Space Harbor, New Mexico at exactly 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time. Talk about Boeing being punctual. That's rare. Before it took off, NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams, who flew the Starliner to the ISS in June, sent the spacecraft a cosmic send-off. Williams, giving a pep talk to the capsule, said, "It's time to bring Calypso home. You've got this." And guess what? Calypso didn't disappoint. The real nail-biter came during re-entry. Starliner, zooming through the thick of Earth's atmosphere at over 17,000 miles per hour, that's 27,400 kilometers per hour. That's like driving from New York to Los Angeles in about 8.6 minutes. If we talk about a hot landing, the friction from re-entry could have turned the capsule into a giant space heater, heating up to more than 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about 1,649 degrees Celsius. As Starliner descended, a set of parachutes, the one they redesigned and tested just this January, deployed to slow the capsule down. The final touch? Airbags gently cushioned its landing, Boeing's hoping this ground touchdown will make recovering and refurbishing the spacecraft easier. No more ocean splashes, and that's a first. Mark Nappy from Boeing said, "I want to give a shout out to the Starliner teams for a smooth undocking, re-entry and landing. But it's not all sunshine and rockets. NASA's Steve Stish mentioned that while the landing was darn near flawless, the path forward for Starliner is still up in the air. Maybe next time, it'll bring the crew back along for the ride." What's next? Boeing and NASA are still figuring out their next steps. Starliner has had its share of delays, cost overruns, and test flight issues. So will Starliner's future flights include astronauts, or will it keep making solo trips? We'll have to wait and see. Now, what's been keeping the crew busy for these past months? Stay tuned to find out. While Starliner's future missions remain uncertain, its crew's role in space is anything but idle. Since arriving at the International Space Station on June 6, 2024, astronauts Suni and Butch have been far from chilling. They've been hard at work. From organizing modules to running plant growth experiments, they're ensuring the station stays on track. Wilmore and Williams are deep into their space experiments, trying out cool techniques like hydroponics and air circulation to get those space veggies growing. Why? Because figuring out how to grow food in space is key for long missions and future space exploration. They've even managed to fix up some broken gear and systems, showing off their tech skills. Did you know astronauts work out for 2 hours every day in space? That's right, they're in the gym more often than we are, and they don't even get to use gravity as an excuse. Aside from that, they've been loading up the Northrop Grumman Cygnus with old gear and trash, getting ready for disposal over the South Pacific. They've also been honing their robot skills with the Canadarm2, prepping for future tasks. If you could be an astronaut for a day, what's the first thing you'd do? Share them in the comments below. With astronauts Suni Williams and Butch Wilmore's extended stay in space, it wasn't all work aboard the ISS. These astronauts sure know how to balance crucial experiments and maintenance with a bit of unexpected fun. Speaking of fun, they recently brought some Olympic spirit to space. While the 2024 Summer Olympics kicked off in Paris, the crew decided to host their zero-gravity games, and NASA dropped a 2-minute video on July 26, capturing the crew's mini-Olympics in action. The festivities kicked off with a mock Olympic torch relay. No real fire in space, of course. They showed off their skills in zero gravity with a floating water globule, used duct tape as an impromptu shot put, and even had a gymnastics competition. One astronaut raced down the ISS corridors, while another tackled some space powerlifting. It was a fun and inventive way to stay active and enjoy their time aboard. And there you have it. Suni Williams and Butch Wilmore's unexpected space adventure continues as they turn their extended stay into a zero-gravity party. Now, if you're curious about why these astronauts are still up there and what's going on with the Boeing Starliner drama, you're in for a treat. We're diving into the whole Starliner saga, from its epic fail to the 4.3 billion space odyssey. It's a must-watch if you want the full scoop on why getting back to Earth hasn't been smooth sailing for anyone involved.